So we wanted to talk about conversations or really weird, awkward incidences where you're in some sort of public space where someone is talking in a language that they, just by assuming, looking at you, they're like, they don't understand what I'm saying right now, so let me have this private conversation that you're totally in on. I had one, a few people that know me know this story, but one time I went to, I had stomach issues, so I went to an ultrasound clinic to get my stomach checked out. So I went there with my dad, and at this time I was 16 or something, and I was there with another Sri Lankan couple in the waiting room. And I'm already smiling about this because this is like just the funniest situation, but I can speak Tamil, I can understand it too, and they were having their own little conversations that I was totally listening on. And it was only until after a while of like them kind of taking too glances at me, and I was like, what the hell's happening? Like, what, do I look weird? Realizing, I'm at an ultrasound clinic with my dad. I'm 16. And at that time, you know, not sweet 16, the 16 and pregnant.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That was a big thing at the time. And I was like, I was putting things together. I was like, they're really thinking something. What's going on here? Yeah. So at first I was mad. I was like, come on, like, please. So, and then I was like, Razia, you have an opportunity here to really fuck with them. So what I did was that we had a few like Cosmopolitan magazines in front of me, and like those parenting magazines, picked one up, started like flipping through them, you know. And I started like just like relaxing in my chair, holding at the top of my stomach, and it was just like, you know, and they're taking more glances and talking more. And
so you can hear them talking about you.
Yeah, just like little things about like, oh, did you see that young lady over there? Kind of like in Tamil, and they're clearly expecting. So just like little things of like fucking with them, and the whole time I was just like, I love when these things happen. Yeah. And like this happened so many times just because like I guess. Even though at that time I wasn't wearing a headscarf, I physically, I guess, don't look Sri Lankan for one reason or another to people. Even though I do think, like, if you're not from the northern part of Sri Lanka, a lot of people do look like me from there. Another thing, like, another time that's happened, though, is I was walking down my street towards my school when I went to elementary school. Same thing, like a Sri Lankan mom and her son were walking, and I think the son was like dragging his feet as he was walking. Yeah. And the mom behind me was saying like, you hear that? You see that the auntie in front of you, like that lady? She's gonna think something about like all the noise you're making with your feet. You know, like all this stuff of like trying to discipline him, and the whole time I'm like smiling. I'm like, I can hear you. Yeah, but how does that ever happen to you? Of like,
well, okay, so I worked in retail for quite some time, as you know. Yeah. Not anymore. Yeah. But
it's just talking about the story.
That's another story for another day.
Oh my god!
As to why I don't work in retail anymore.
Oh my god!
But
we should have like a podcast dedicated just to
I have to make sure we're in a good place before I even talk about that
let some time pass, guys.
Yeah. It's a juicy one. Okay, well, maybe that could be like a group conversation if I bring everybody who's involved. Anyways, idea. No, I don't think that'll happen though. Anyway, so I worked in retail. I worked in a children's clothing store, and I'm Ethiopian, so a lot of times we would get Ethiopian parents or like one parent or whatever come in with their children, or just, you know, by themselves to come and shop for their children or for a gift or whatever the case may be. And I guess I don't look visibly Ethiopian. A lot of people don't think. And I think the reason as to why is because when they first look at me, they see my hijab. Right?
I see.
And people, when they think of Muslim, they don't think Ethiopian.
That's interesting.
So when I tell people I'm Ethiopian, they're like, but you're Muslim. And I'm like, yes I am. And I'm like, you know, Muslims are like Islam's a religion. Yeah. And, you know, being an Ethiopian, that's like, that's an ethnic background. There's no qualifications. Yeah. But anyways, I've been telling people this since I've been in elementary school. So, you know, you're kind of over it at one point. But regardless, so when people see me, they automatically see my hijab. When I was younger, when I didn't wear a hijab, a lot of times people would automatically assume I was like Caribbean or something, like from Jamaica.
Do they assume Somali when you're wearing scarf?
Yes.
Now? That's why.
So either they think I'm South Asian or they think I'm Somalian.
You get South Asian?
I get South Asian.
Wow.
Or Middle Eastern.
Middle Eastern maybe, but yeah, that's weird. Anyway.
I've only ever had one person who's not Ethiopian
say that
I'm Ethiopian.
Okay.
One person in my life.
Okay.
And I was so shocked. I was like, yes, I am. Thank you.
You're like accepted for thank you.
But yeah, so a lot of times when these families come in, they don't recognize me as Ethiopian. But sometimes they do, like if it's a Muslim Ethiopian family, sometimes they'll be like, ooh, she looks like she's part of she's our people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But a lot of times it doesn't happen. So I could be cashing them out, or I could be just, doing my own thing, cleaning in the store and stuff, and I can hear their entire conversation, or, and sometimes it's not bad. Sometimes you're just listening in onto them, like, this shirt's ugly. No, I don't like this shirt.
Yeah,
or
that's
like,
usually the
like the smaller things. But sometimes I have to be careful because this is the thing. Like, I don't want to bring attention to myself that I am Ethiopian, because a lot of times they'll start speaking to me in, whatever language they speak. Most of the times it's Amharic or Tigrinya, which are two of some of the major languages in Ethiopia. There's many, many more, but some of the major ones. One, I don't speak Tigrinya at all. But Amharic, that's where my family speaks Amharic. Majority of my family speaks Amharic, so I should be able to speak Amharic. However, I understand it 100%, but I'm not very good at speaking it.
Yeah.
So if I say
I was
born here in Canada. Right. So, So if I do say I'm Ethiopian, they automatically go, oh, do you speak Amharic? And then I'm like, no. And then they just look at me like shame.
Yeah,
like, shame on you.
It's a Western child.
Yeah.
Didn't learn anything. Yeah.
So I just don't bring attention to myself. So usually they're talking to each other, making a decision, and then they'll say it like, when they make a decision, like, okay, we'll go with this shirt, but they'll say it in like Amharic, and then I'll be in the action of doing it, like, okay, I'll take it from them. And then they look at me weird, like, we didn't tell you in English. How did you know what to do? And then I'll just like look away and keep doing my work. So
that's so funny.
Yeah, but it's funny because a lot of times when you meet like people who were born in Ethiopia or still live in Ethiopia, like say for example when I went back home a couple years ago, my family, like, they didn't, because I couldn't speak back to them in Amharic, they just didn't believe I understood it. Even though I kept telling them, I understand, 100% I understand.
Yeah.
But, like, they would keep, like, saying, are you sure she understands? Or, like, they would try, they'd be like, they would ask, like, my aunt to, like, to translate. And I'd be like, no, I understand what you're saying. I get it. But I just can't say it back to you.
Yeah, I'm the same way when I go back home, too, of, like, I completely understand Tamil. Like, and it for me, sometimes I struggle with different dialects of Tamil in that, like, some dialects speak a lot faster. They use a lot more what you would think, like, it's like the difference between, like, Montreal and French.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Of, like, sometimes it sounds more
like
formal.
Slang and,
So I'm better at the slang type of Tamil than I am about, like, the formal words or, like, the actual words for things. So, but other than that, when I go back home, I understand everybody who's talking Tamil, like,
me too.
1,000%. But it's the same thing of, like, it's not that I can't speak Tamil. I'm a lot more confident when I'm in front of my immediate family.
Yeah.
But back home and, like,
especially for my
grandma. Exactly. My grandma, she's the first one to just smile at me while I'm trying to talk to them. Yeah. And I'm like,
my family laughs at me.
Yeah.
And my mom always says, like, why don't you speak? Like, just try. Even if you mix it with English, after a while you'll practice and you'll get better. And I'm like, well, you guys always laugh at me when I try. And she's like, we're not laughing at you. We're laughing because it sounds so, like, cute. And I'm like, still, you're laughing. Don't laugh at me.
It's exactly that.
Who knows? I don't know. I always thought when I was younger, for some reason, I always thought once I hit, like, adulthood, I would just know how to speak it.
It just instills in you.
Yeah, it's just like, once I become an adult, there it is. I know the language. But unfortunately, that's not the case.
Yeah,
so.
I'm not at the point, though, that I could, like, write on a resume confidently say, she knows Tamil and English, like, that kind of thing. So, but one day,
That's what on my resume, whenever I write, like, because I do know French. I write intermediate knowledge of French because, like, I'm pretty it's another thing. Yeah. I don't know if it's just me or with a lot of people who speak multiple languages, but I understand French 100%. Like, I can listen to a conversation and understand it, but when it comes to, like, forming the words, like, you have to bring in, this is the way my brain works, like, you have to bring in vocabulary, you have to bring in conjugation, like, context, and sometimes the word that you translate from English to French isn't the right word because it's not the right context. Exactly. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So there's, like, little things like that. My brain is, like, trying to put all this stuff and it doesn't do it fast enough.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the same. And then you just get frustrated. You're like, I might as well just use English.
Exactly.
And the same thing. And that's why, like, when I'm talking to my mom, I know that I'm not using Tamil the right way and that, like, I'm skipping words and skipping parts of a sentence, but I know she can put it together.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, obviously, we talk to each other. She knows what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
But in public or, like, with my neighbor, for example, she cannot 1,000% understand what I'm saying. She never said. I feel bad because she's not also the greatest at English, so it's, like, a weird, like, I just go for
in
English.
between.
We just do English.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, man, our intro's already 10 minutes. Okay, so... We have to get better at, like, making these a little shorter.
Just snappy and stuff, I know.
But, okay, guys, welcome to episode number 4. I'm Iman.
I'm Razia.
And you are listening to the Talkaholics Podcast. We welcome you back. Today, we have a couple things that we're going to be talking about. As usual, we have, a list of points that we want to, discuss.
A few political stuff. I know not in the podcast previous to this, but the one before that, we did touch on a few things, such as, like, the updates with the Ontario election, if you guys were following. And if we just want to talk about a few updates since then and a few other things that have happened in and around the Toronto area. So there's that. I think we have a few other topics in and around the entertainment industry. And then as we go along, we'll probably just ramble and fall on some sort of topic. All right, guys, we're going to get into the episode. Thanks for listening in again, and hope you enjoy it.
Okay, guys, so if you watched our last podcast, you would know that we started doing segments. And if you haven't watched our last podcast, please go do so.
Yeah, right now.
No, but we started doing segments. So we started a film segment called Iman and Razia Go to the Movies. So we wanted to, be more creative and add some more segments. So we wanted to be more informative in that sense. And Razia came up with the idea of maybe just going on Reddit and going through the newsfeed and see what's popping, what's trending. So we're just going to do a live one. We have Reddit open right now on Razia's laptop, and we're literally going to do a live read of a couple of the headlines and react.
Yeah. My favorite thing about Reddit, though, is that you get a good mix of, like, really interesting topics. First of all, it's all very relevant.
Yeah.
And all very pretty much up to date as the news comes out. And it's a mix of entertainment and politics, and just so we keep the conversation not too heavy, like I feel like we did in the second podcast. And it kind of just goes all over the place, and I like that variety of topics.
And before we move on, this segment's going to be called Reddit Rundown, and we are going to insert our little jingle for it right now.
Reddit Rundown.
Okay. I'm sure you guys enjoyed that. We don't know how it went because we haven't edited this podcast yet. So.
Okay. So we're just scrolling through right now on the Reddit homepage, and right now under r/movies, it says Disney would control 40% of the U.S. box office if it buys Fox. I know Disney has been actually buying over quite a few companies. I know it bought rights to, like, the most recent one was the Star Wars franchise, right? Which, I mean, think about how much money they've made so far off of just the past 3 movies that have come out from that.
That's true. But how would that work in terms of, like, censorship?
What do you mean?
Because if Disney buys over Fox, like, Fox isn't a, like, family-friendly company.
Right. And I don't think it would be, like, I can't think of another company that does this, but they probably will keep, like, the same structure, the same kind of movies Fox makes right now, but just that they're getting the revenue from that company. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I mean, like, wouldn't, like, Disney's name would be...
I know.
But, so, like, you mean when they buy Fox, they're just buying in, as in they own it, but Fox is still going to be Fox.
That's what I think so, because, I mean, the picture's right there. That's the only reason why I'm saying it's because of movies like Deadpool. First of all, R-rated movie, there's no way you're going to dumb that down by any means. The reason why I think they made as much money as they did and why their comedy is so funny is because they go that extra mile. Yeah. And so, like, I can imagine people just dropping that movie off if the third movie, the next one that comes out, isn't what the other 2 were.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I say that. But that would be incredibly interesting.
And like, how... like, what changes are going to happen within how they produce their content, because obviously ownership plays a big role. This is my communications degree
look at
coming
you.
out.
Look at you.
Ownership plays a big role in the content that comes out through media platforms and outlets. So it's interesting to see if that were to happen, how things would change, and if it would be for the better or for the worse. Yeah.
No, and I think your point too about censorship is really important because, again, going back to the Star Wars, example of like. Those movies like are definitely influenced by the Disney approach to making movies because like Disney almost in every movie that they make, and I feel like Pixar is kind of following the same route of like there's always one sidekick character that has is just their point and purpose in that movie is to just be cutesy. Like for example, like the Minions movie, they've made so much money based on that just one yellow blob character because it makes a funny noise and it's just cute and it's something they can make a lot of money off of merchandise wise, right? Moana, same thing. There's that chicken character, and for Star Wars it's that the ball rolling thingy. What is it called?
Oh, the
BB something.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't know their names. I didn't watch Star Wars, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It's again like a new character, not part of the previous franchise, and just a cutesy version of what R2-D2 was. It's the younger brother, so it's the same kind of thing, right? Of like they're gonna do that for every movie going forward. They know they're smart about it. Like they think forward in terms of is this a product we can make a crap ton of money on, right?
And I mean, exactly. Like that's the thing. Like business wise, this would be, I would think, a good move for them. Yeah. However, I'm always skeptical or like slightly against larger companies buying other larger companies because because then you get a monopoly, and when it comes to media, you shouldn't have that because then you're having a more centralized voice rather than individualized free speech. I mean, I get it, like it's entertainment, it's movies, but a lot of the stuff that we see in movies influences our society and our day-to-day lives. So for Disney, this move would be phenomenal, but for the box office and for like audience members like such as us who enjoy indie movies, who enjoy things that kind of take a bigger risk, especially like that, this is not the greatest sign, especially because I think of things like Disney has such a great influence on the animation industry, which I'm a huge follower of. And like the movies like Kubo and the Two Strings, for example, I don't know if you went and watched that. That was one that came out recently. Yeah. Have you heard of it? I heard of it, but I didn't get to see it, no.
A great animated movie. Oh my god. Like story-wise, like you're going to cry. So expect just get ready.
I cried during Coco.
Did you? Oh, that was a good movie too, though. And I have an opinion about that, actually. Ooh. So, okay, hold on. Let's go back to this. But, so movies like Kubo and the Two Strings, and I think it's Illuminato Productions that makes those types of movies. They made Paranorman. They made Box Trolls. They made a lot of really good stop motion animation that I'm like just the biggest fan of. They made Coraline, stuff like that.
Coraline freaked me out. Ooh, not gonna lie.
But stuff like, for me, you need movies like that because they push the line when it comes to storytelling and say a lot of really deep and kind of implicit messages to kids that I find Disney stories aren't going to tell you because you're going to stick to a formula and it's going to be really it's going to be all really dreamy and like any wish you make it'll come true kind of thing. And I think
no, I agree. I definitely, obviously Disney has been controversial since they since forever, so we'll see, I guess. That's interesting.
So the next one we're looking at is r/space. It says okay, already fucked that up. Astronauts explain why nobody has visited the moon in more than 45 years, and the reasons are depressing. Astronauts often say that the biggest reasons why humans haven't returned to the lunar surface are budgetary and political hurdles, not scientific or technical challenges.
Oh, I 100% believe that.
Yeah? And why is that?
Because, I mean, no, the reason why I believe that is because I think that the technology that exists right now, there's so much more that exists that than we know. I think what we know of technology, like like common, if you're not in the technology field, if you're not in the tech field, what we know as like a regular person, I think our technology, like the information out there, is way beyond what we think is available to us, and I think it's being withheld for political reasons. 100%.
No, that's fair. And I think, like, well, there's, like, huge conspiracy theory, too, even about, like, have we even been on the move to begin with?
Yeah, I know.
Right?
Yeah.
So, which is its own topic, and we can go, like, into a deep dive about that. I haven't really, like, have a solid opinion on that because I've heard both sides and kind of gone, well, you know, I think that headline's accurate in that, like, I also think in a political perspective, what kind of hype are we gonna get from just returning back to the moon? When I think, like, right now, if anything, Mars is, like, our most interesting.
Yeah.
Like,
but I also believe that a lot of times when, like, you know, when a country, I say a country because that's usually when people go to space, they go as their country, right? When people go to space, a lot of the times, like, you'll see it being used as a power move. Like, we have this technology to do this, and so that means we're better than you.
Yeah.
And so I think that's why sometimes...
That's what I'm saying, but that there's no need to go back to the moon because it's not something you're going to get publicity on. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Unless they have something that... Yeah. Unless something, like, there is something that's going to be completely different than...
And this is why I think, like, okay, the last few expeditions or big ones that have been getting any attention is, like, everything to do with Mars. Because right now, like, recently or within the last 5 or 6 years or something, like, there was evidence of life being on Mars in, like, not, like, humans. It's not what I'm saying, but, like, water was found on Mars. Yeah. Like, that kind of thing. And, like, all those little robots have been sent there. And Tesla has a big... kind of stake in doing expeditions there, so like it seems superfluous to like even be talking about the moon at this point because
that's true.
It's also a use thing, you know. So I saw there's this GIF that we're looking at in r/combined GIFs, but it's of those like Boston Robotics things. I don't know if you've seen these guys. But, okay, it's, like, going through a GIF of Terminator right now, but, like, past this one. These, like, oh, my God, those robot walking dogs, I found them so, like, disturbing to look at. And
I feel so bad.
Yeah.
Why are they doing that? They're just kicking the robot.
Okay, even they don't have feelings.
Yeah, okay, and then when we get taken over by robots, we can say they don't have feelings.
Okay, so just to give you context, those robots that we're looking at right now...
have feelings too.
They're from, I'm pretty sure they're called from a company called Boston Robotics, and they've been getting a lot of attention recently because they created that, I'm pretty sure that robot's called Big Dog, and then there's one that's like a human looking, they're basically...
so I don't understand, like, so if they fall over, nothing happens to them? Is that what they're trying to show?
Yes, they're testing those robots, and they're pushing them, and these GIFs are of just a bunch of humans trying to test their balance and see if the robots are working properly, essentially. Yeah. But the GIF goes straight into a picture of,
that's what's gonna happen. They're gonna remember. I remember that time when you pushed me over.
But I think those, oh my God, those robots actually, like, because they walk so naturally almost, it gives me, like, I get, like, goosebumps. It's definitely... Ooh, it gives me goosebumps. Yeah. I hate looking at those things. Oh, my God.
Oh, that's cool.
That's pretty cool. We're looking at r/BMAs, and it's called Moving Lego Boat. And it's just, like, I guess a stop... Is it stop motion? Is it animation?
It looks like animation. Doesn't
No, but look, that's like a garden back there. That's like...
Yeah, but but that doesn't look like stop motion. The pieces don't look real.
You don't think so?
Or, I don't know.
Maybe they're not. But basically, it's just like it looks like a stop motion thing of a boat being built and then just going through water.
If that's stop motion, that's crazy detail and time.
Yeah.
Wow.
And, like, how fluid it is.
Yeah.
Man, that's pretty
like, you have to move, like, one piece by piece. That's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Okay. I guess we'll go through one last headline. I'm just trying to find something.
Huh?
Man gets hit by a fucking planet.
What?
This is on r/people fucking dying. When you fall and scrape your knees and you're technically getting hit by a planet and walking away with only a scratch.
Wait, no, I want to see. Is this a video?
I don't know. Trying to jump a curb in the background of live TV. I think he just...
Oh, no.
He missed it. Basically. It's a guy who tried to jump a curb with his bike, and he's basically...
You know what that reminds me of? You know that video? I don't know why it reminds me of, but that video of those two runners, and it's, like, icy, and they're like, yeah, it's perfect weather for running, and then the lady starts running away, and she slips and falls. You haven't seen that? It's hilarious, because she's like, it's the perfect weather for running. She goes jogging, and she slips and falls.
Those things are meant for gifts. Oh my God. Anyway, that was our first go at, I guess, Reddit rundown. We can go
fun.
through as we talk. I know it's actually a good conversation starter. We got a good few conversations out of this, so
yeah.
I was just so laughing at the other things I'm saying. But yeah, if you like this segment, let us know, and we can actually use other websites in a similar way, I guess, if you guys are interested.
Yeah,
but I just think Reddit's the place to do it,
yeah, we
to
can
be
go through
honest.
Reddit, we can go through Twitter.
Or if there's like one thread that you guys know of that is interesting or like full of like funny crap that we could review,
yeah,
please send those our way, please.
Talkaholics.pod@gmail.com
or YouTube in the comment section,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Whichever is easier for you guys.
There you go.
Okay, so I actually wanted to bring it to something a little bit more serious, because we love being serious on this podcast.
Oh gosh.
So as you know, we've had a lot of incidents in Toronto. Well, as you know, but maybe if you guys aren't from Toronto, if you haven't known, we've had like a lot, like an extreme increase in gun violence in Toronto in the past couple months.
Yeah.
Or like even within the past year.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm confused.
Yeah.
I really am, because obviously I'm not gonna say Toronto or Canada is perfect, but we have strict gun laws.
Yeah,
like
and
you can't just carry a gun.
Yeah, and it's important to notice too. It's not that like Toronto hasn't had these incidents before.
Of course.
I mean, robberies happen. Like you hear about someone getting shot on the side of the road sometimes on the news, but it's the areas that I think these things are happening.
Yeah, but I feel like I'm listening to the news and it's constant, like every
Yeah.
day. I remember within a week there was like two
within our area.
2 or 3 shootings where people died.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, I'm confused. What's going on? Where, like, I'm not... Toronto has always had a gang and a gang issue.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
But, like, I've never... Maybe is it just because we weren't aware of it?
And
Or it wasn't being reported of? But,
Yeah.
like, I really don't know.
The reason why I think it's a little confusing... So, for example, remember when, like, the whole Harper thing happened of, like, the niqab ban and all the stuff that had been happening in America specific to Muslims and stuff? That we saw things happening to specifically hijab-wearing women and in public and in school environments, like getting harassed one way or another or verbally attacked.
Yeah.
And for me, not that those things were good, but they had a reason to why. You could source those incidents to something, right?
Yeah.
You could say, oh, in the news because of this stuff, this is why people are outraged and are acting against things that are happening. The reason why it's so confusing now is because you can't even blame this on Trump's administration or America. He's been in power for a while. Nothing specifically new was happening.
Yeah.
And
a lot of the times, like, these incidents aren't, like, there may be a time where it was, like, I remember one time, I don't remember if it was last year, but it was, like, in a building, and there was, like, a shootout, but that was because it was gang-related.
Yeah.
Like, do you remember when that happened?
Yeah.
There was, like, a shootout in the elevator, and this guy was trying to get away, and, okay, that was, it was conflict between, like, gang-related conflict. But a lot of these shootings now, people are, like, in the wrong place at the wrong time. Like, remember those 2 little girls downtown?
Yeah. No, exactly. So, yeah, exactly. My second point was that all these individual incidents are A, not linked to each other.
Yeah.
And B, they almost seem like too fluke. It's like just people who are bored who have guns on them. Who you know?
Like, what's going on?
So,
like, why do these people, are they getting access to these guns?
Yeah.
And then, like, what...
And they're just using them in
They're
public.
And you know what? The last shooting that I heard of, if I remember correctly, the last shooting that happened was the one downtown near this, where it was like they were near the streetcar. Okay. I can't remember exactly where it was, but I think it was outside of a club or something like that. But it wasn't late. It was like 8, and the sun was still out. Yeah. And the shooting happened.
Yeah.
Like there's so people around.
It's
like
so
it's
strange.
just, I just don't know what can be done to combat this.
Yeah, making sense of it all is kind of difficult. I think though the last and one of the things that we wanted to touch up on is actually day before yesterday there was a few of those threats that went out I think on Twitter that the OPP was aware of, where basically there were some threats going out about some sort of terrorist attack to be happened that would be similar to the one that happened on Yonge and Dundas, like a car ramming related, in and around CN Tower and Canada's Wonderland. So it was just strange.
Or it was just like the major buildings, like even like the ACC, which is now called the Scotiabank.
Oh my god,
Arena?
I don't even call it
Scotiabank Arena.
Oh my god.
But like the police were everywhere basically, but they said like we still encourage you guys to come downtown.
Yeah, and they were like nothing's confirmed and stuff, but I know some businesses in and around the area did close down. I know that.
Wow.
And they did let employees leave early, I guess, for safe measures, which I kind of do and don't understand. But, in this climate, really, I mean, being safe is kind of the best thing to do.
Yeah.
But stuff like that, and so what was the point though? What is actually linked to that threat being happening? The only thing at that time that I could think of was Doug Ford is having his first throne speech, like his inaugural, like here's the
but like
exactly. Who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
It's for us, like it's different in America where like the first president's speech does matter. People freaking like tune in to watch that stuff. Here it's like I couldn't even tell you what happened for the last few years.
No.
Like
I forgot about Doug Ford, to be honest.
Like at that
for a little bit I forgot about him.
And it doesn't none of it connects, which I think is what we struggle with. But in terms of updates on political stuff, there has been a few things happening in like the political world or with employment for government employees, specifically like a hiring freeze, merit freezes. Managers aren't able to get raises for a while now.
Yeah.
There's freezes on that stuff.
And didn't they like cut a whole bunch of funding for the school board?
He did cut on some schools. What do you call it when you do reconstruction? Some schools like funding for that stuff.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Which I don't know too much in and around why that happened, but so a lot of things have happened actually. So there's that piece. He has, for something that applies to both of us, he ended the York strike, or is looking to end the York strike. Did you hear about this?
I did not hear about that,
no?
but like, okay, whoop-de-doo. It's been like 6 months.
I know, which is what a few people are saying to me, but at the same time, I'm here like, okay, at least, like,
I think it had to end a bit.
Yeah.
Like, what were they gonna do?
Yeah. I'll take the action over inaction.
Yeah, no,
at the same time,
I
understand. At the same time, I understand. Well, 6 months have passed. The damage has been done.
Yeah.
He's gonna refund, these students for this kind of stuff. And I do want to know more of his plan around exactly how he's gonna end stuff and make matters meet, and how he's gonna like deal with renegotiating of the union's pay there. So
yeah,
that's really interesting.
See if anything actually comes out of that.
Yeah, but it makes me happy though that at least he's reacting to things, and it's for topics that I think are pressing or time sensitive, right?
Yeah.
And there's a few other things that happened, but the big thing that I knew too is that he is looking to combine a bunch of different ministries that are existing right now, because what the Liberals did while they were in power for 15 years is that they kept splitting off branches and splitting off ministries, and now he's going back to make them more consolidated.
So he basically wants to like cut jobs,
which he, like we said in one podcast, in a nice way to say, have a smaller government in another way, right?
So like kind of like to have more control.
Yeah, to have more control, and I think some of the changes he's making make sense to me, because some of the ministries are like, there's no reason why they should be apart. Like you should consolidate all your employees into one bucket there, and it is a quick way of saving money, because what you're doing is getting rid of associate deputy ministers who make some of the most money, like in the government, right? And if you're going from say 30 ministries to 20, that's 10 people who are making a crap ton of money that you're easily saving money on. So there's all that fun stuff. But so far, I think
like what happens to those people then?
They just get laid off, or they get surplused, right? They get removed. So there's that fun stuff. But I think he's making both good and bad decisions so far. I think I'm most satisfied by how quickly he's making the decisions, and it's not just promises he's going to be sitting on for a while.
Yeah.
So I take that over, what I'm used to hearing from the Liberals, at least, of like, we plan on doing A, B, and C, and then you just wait a couple
years.
Right? Which this feels like he just got in power, and he's actually
well, hopefully, hopefully we were wrong about him.
Yeah,
I hope he does some good for the city.
Yeah.
Because Lord knows his brother.
He was interesting, man. I'm surprised all of that stuff did happen for Trump's administration and stuff.
Oh, did you see the baby Donald blimp?
I saw pictures of it, but I don't know the context around it.
It was at a march. The Edinburgh March.
It's such a good cartoon. It's
so funny.
It's so nice. Like, I actually like how it's made. There's so many, like, oh my god, photographers. What is this? A 6-meter-high cartoon baby blimp of U.S. President Donald Trump is flown as a protest against his visit in Parliament Square in London. Oh my god. Is it like that, just like that giant rubber duck thing that they're doing?
Oh, yeah. Are they still doing that? Was that a last summer thing? Like, did they continue that?
Well, I'm just comparing that to this, and that this is going to take its rounds around the world, and then people can take pictures of that. Is that the point?
I really don't know.
Oh my god. That's strange. Surprisingly, I've heard not so much from President Trump as of recent.
That's true. Me neither.
He's kind of been a little
quiet.
A little hush-hush. Did you hear about his wife, though? This is kind of late news, but how she visited those kids that have been removed from their families from the border.
Yeah, I did hear about that.
And the jacket thing.
Wait, what jacket thing?
So when she went to go visit them,
yeah,
she wore this jacket that was from Zara, like, which is like for her, like, not like under her budget.
Yeah.
But it wrote something like, "I don't care, do you?"
Oh yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah, I heard about that.
Which, I mean, that visit is politically sensitive. Did you not think you were gonna get, like, because her normal wear isn't within that budget range?
Yeah, like, why did you make that decision? Yeah. Or who made that decision?
Yeah, exactly. And it feels almost like on purpose.
Yeah.
So that, people were making, I forgot, there's some celebrity who got their own jacket and painted on, "I do care and you should too." Oh. Yeah, which was, like, really, really cool.
That whole situation with, like, deportation, splitting up families, and putting kids in, like, it's so messed up.
Yeah. And actually I heard a good point recently about, like, so going back to the York strike, you know how, like, it feels like the union is using students as bargaining chips to get what they want?
Yeah.
Trump is doing the same thing with kids he's separating from their families as a way to ensure that his wall happens.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was such a good, like, correlation, because it is the same thing of, like, let's use the vulnerable, the most in need.
The people who are being strongly affected by the situation.
Yeah. And it's going to get you the most media attention, all that fun stuff, attention from the public, so that he gets what he wants done, right?
So disgusting.
So, to me, again, not the smartest when it comes to legislation, especially within America, but, like, how is this still happening, which I'm sure it's not legal.
I don't see how it can be, and I really don't understand how they get away with so much, but, like...
Yeah. Like, there's a building right now being purposed, and there's people being paid for the purpose of housing these kids.
It's ridiculous.
Like, first of all, how did you go hire these people, or how did their positions change to become babysitters, essentially? Or, it's
crazy that someone was, like, someone made a decision, whether it's Trump or, Trump and his other people made a decision, and they were like, yep, this is a good idea. This is completely fine. And I'm sure a lot of them have their own families, have their own kids. And that's another thing, like, so they're looking at these immigrants and they're not seeing them as human beings, they're not seeing them as people they can relate to, because obviously, like, how can you look at a child in the face, separate them from their family while they're crying and not feel a thing?
And they're taking things from them too, like I don't know if you listened, but they had weird regulation in place for taking things from the families too when they're separating them, like things about, like, taking shoelaces from the kids' shoes and stuff as they go, like taking their stuff too, which I'm like, what's the security purpose behind that?
There's probably no security purpose. It's more likely a way to just break them down even further.
Yeah.
So that, like, it's sick. Actually, I can't even.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Imagine.
I don't know if you heard that news too about the lady who does Trump's, like, press stuff. She's the one who talks.
Oh yeah. God, I don't like her at all.
Yeah, I feel like.
Well, she knows 100% that it's wrong. Like, I remember seeing a press conference where one of the reporters was, like, continuously asking her, like. Don't you have kids? Like, is this okay? Yeah. And she just couldn't answer. Because obviously, no, it's not okay. You can't say yes, it's okay.
Yeah. And too, she's in an awkward point of, like, I get both sides in that she has a job right now.
Yeah, exactly.
And whether or not she agrees with the Trump administration is something unknown to us, but it's her job. She obviously can't. She's trying her best not to break down at that moment. And I think, like, having the courtesy here to believe that she does think it's wrong because she is a mother herself.
Yeah.
Like the reporter was saying, but I also understand the reporter. Like, he's intentionally doing that on purpose to get something.
Yeah, to get a reaction out of her.
He wants to get her to break to say something about his administration, right? Which would be like a win for him. But I think because she went to a restaurant after that incident had happened and she was refused service. So
Wow.
She like in her.
Well, I
public
mean,
life.
you know, what do you expect? Like, you're a part of the administration that's hated by a lot of people in the country.
Yeah, and I get that it's her job. Like, I've heard people say, like, it's her job.
Yeah, but you made a choice.
Exactly.
You made a choice to become a part of the administration.
Your work and your position doesn't somehow remove you from, you know, those moral implications.
Yeah.
What it means in the real world.
You made a choice, like, and you, at the end of the day, like, you as an individual make a choice to do whatever you do in your life. You have made that choice. Like, obviously sometimes there's outside factors that kind of push you to do certain things, but at the end of the day you still made the choice.
Yeah.
So you have to take some responsibility for that choice.
And I don't necessarily take the, well, it's her job, you have to understand that. I understand what it means that she has to have a responsibility to ensure she aligns with the Trump administration, but I also understand again, like you said, she had the choice to stay and remain in that position. So at some point, like, she must have agreed with something. And I don't empathize just at that level if that's her employment.
No. I don't empathize with anybody who works for the Trump administration.
Exactly.
And
you're at a level where I really believe you could find.
You're a grown adult, man. Like, come on.
Exactly. So. All right, guys, I think that's where we'll end it. We did cover, again, a lot of serious topics and a fun new little segments that we're just trying out and experimenting as we go. But thank you again for listening in. If you have any suggestions, let us know.
Please do.
And I'm hoping we can get more into the rhythm of, like, you know, either inviting guests or having more comedic, you know, moments within our show.
Or even do, like, you know, like those answer, like, Q&As?
Yeah.
So where, like, we get questions sent in or, like, advice, an advice segment. That'd be cool.
That'd be pretty interesting. Yeah, I'm looking forward to, like, just like, kicking back and having I guess, less serious conversations. But right now, with the political climate, it's kind of difficult not to touch on those subjects.
Yeah, you guys, we always got to talk about politics here and there. You know, it's a part of life. Like, it's good. It's changing the way we live. Yeah. Like, you can't not talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. Thanks again for listening in, and hope you enjoyed this podcast and listen to the next one's coming up.
We'll talk to you on the next one.
Oh, look at you. Keep it up.
Bye.
Bye.